Bridgemate 2, introductory film produced, directed, and starring Bob Lee. Okay, this is going to be a short little lesson on how to use the Bridgemates. That's these little devices here. Everyone will have one on their table. A little bit about duplicate bridge etiquette. In duplicate bridge, everyone's got a job. North, south. North job is to keep score, and they'll run the little computers. South job is to move the boards from one table to the other. East-west has to verify the scores, and east-west moves at the end of a round. So that's what everybody's job is. The Bridgemates are little computers that are connected up to the big computer. They're little data entry devices, really. They're connected up to the big computer. And you can see on here the keys that are available. There's no key to turn it on. To turn it on, you just hit the OK button, and it will come up and say Bridgemate 2. The other buttons on here are pretty self-explanatory. You're going to enter contracts like 6 no trump or 3 spades, so on and so on. Enter north-south or east-west. The first thing you're going to do is enter your ID numbers, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Okay, we're ready to start a new game. The director has told us to enter our names, and the first thing you need to know about the Bridgemates is there is no on-off button. It's on all the time, and all you have to do to bring up the screen is hit the OK button. So the first thing we do is hit the OK button, and it tells us we're Bridgemate 2, OK to start, good. So it tells us we're Section A, Table 1. Good, we hit OK again, and it wants to know North's ID. So I'm going to put in North's ID now, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and say OK. Now it says what's South's ID. In this case it's 1, 2, 3, 6. And I'm going to say OK again. Now it wants to know East, which is 1, 2, 3, 7. Okay. And now it wants to know West, which is 1, 2, 3, 8. 1, 2, 3, 8. Okay. Now it comes up and finds the players' names associated with their numbers, and it tells you who's playing this table. In this case, it'll be Barack and Michelle Obama against Hillary and Bill Clinton. So press OK to accept those players. All right, now it's telling us that we're going into round 1 and boards 1 and 2. Now this will be different depending on which kind of movement we have, whether we have a Mitchell or a Howe. Those numbers will differ somewhat, but you get the idea. So here we went off, we'll hit OK, that turns us back on, and it tells us who we're playing. It says board 1. I keep hitting OK until it says what's the contract. Now after the bidding is complete, North will enter the contract. In this case, I'm going to say they bid 2 hearts, and it wants to know where, and I'll say it's in the south by hitting the button here, and say OK. Now after the play is complete, we can come back and enter the results. In this case, let's say they made it. Let's say they went down 1. That's even better. If they made it, we would just put 2 in there. Or if they made 3 tricks, we'd put 3. 4 tricks, we'd put 4, and so on. Now, if they go down, what you do is you put how much they went down. In this case, they're going to go down 1. So I'm going to hit the minus sign, minus 1, and say OK. All right, so it tells me that east-west made 50 points. And it wants east-west to accept the score. If north has put it in right, east-west has the option to look at it and make sure it's right. Now the accept button is up on the top. It's right here. Not the OK button, but the accept button is here. So east-west will look at it and they'll hit accept, and it says entry complete. And it also gives you a percentage on the boards that have been played so far. Now, so far we've only played one board, so it's 50-50, and that doesn't really mean anything. Hit OK. It'll show us what other boards have done. No other boards. Takes us to board 2. Okay, board 2. Again, we enter the contract. For instance, I'll say that the contract was bid at 3, no trump, in the east. I'll say OK, and the results are he made 3. So I'll hit 3, and now it says I want to verify that. East-west, please verify the results. So at this point I just hit the verify button, and again it tells me the results, gives me the other tables, and so you see how that goes. And that's the end of round 1. And we go to round 2. Tells us we're going to play boards 3 and 4. And now it's going to be Barack Obama, Michelle Obama against Barbara Bush and George Bush. There are a couple of things I need to point out about the BridgeMate keyboard. We've talked about how we put in the bid, but what happens if everybody passes? Well, there's a special key on the keyboard for just that situation. It's not easy to see. It's the K key, and you'll notice that in green it says pass. You click this key just as if you were putting in the number of the contract, and it will take you to the next round. Well, now that we all know how to enter our contract, my question is, what happens if the contract's doubled? Well, it turns out that there's a special key that handles that situation. It's the double key, and it's shown here. Simply enter your contract, and then all you have to do is hit the double key and carry on. Now, if the contract is redoubled, do you hit the double key twice? No, no, no. There is a special key for redouble, and that's shown right here. Simply hit the double X key if the contract is redoubled after you enter the contract, and then carry on. So those are the special conditions that occur when we have a contract doubled or redoubled. With the accept button. Now, as I told you earlier, after North puts in the contract, East-West has the option to either accept or reject it. The accept key is not the OK key. It's in a little different place, and it will say accept over it. If you look at the upper right-hand corner, that's where the accept key is. We're going to talk a little bit about the names function. The names function allows you to correct names when they're put in incorrectly. I know this was incorrect because when it first came on, there was a name missing. So to use the name function, you go up and you hit, well, went off, all right. Now you go up and you hit names, and it shows me that North, they don't know who North is. So I need to correct that. Well, see the correct key on the upper right-hand side, right here. If you hit the correct key, it'll bring up the numbers. Now, I can correct that one, or I can use the up arrow and down arrow keys to correct any one. But I happen to know that that one is wrong, and I know what's wrong with it. So I'm going to hit cancel to take the last number out, which is a 0, but should have been an 8. and I'm going to put the 8 in, and then I'm going to say OK, and it takes me to the next number. I know that's OK, and I know that's OK, and I know that's OK. So I hit OK again, and boom. Now I've got all my names corrected. So all I got to do is hit OK to accept, and now we're back to board 1. So that's how you go in and change names if you put them in wrong, i.e. you put in the number wrong, you put in the user number wrong. Finally, let's talk about when we make a mistake and we want to go back and correct it. Many times you can do that by hitting the cancel key. The cancel key is shown here, and if you make a mistake, just hit cancel and it should take you back one step. And you can go back several steps. That's basically how you get into the system and set up the boards. Okay, I want to show you one other detail here of what happens when you make a mistake on entry. Let's say we're going to round 3 now. We're going to play boards 5 and 6. And that's who we're playing. We go down, we enter our contract, and we say it's 3, no trump. And I hit enter. Whoops. What didn't I do? I didn't tell the system who was playing it. So after you hit your contract, the next thing you do is go down to your either north-south key or your east-west key, and you hit the appropriate contract. If it's north, you hit it 1 time, south, you hit it twice. And then we'll say OK, and now it's ready for the results. Put the results in 3, and we go through the same routine, accept it, complete, and we're going to board 6. This contract will be 2 clubs. Forgot whose it is, it's east, and the results were 2. And we're going to the verification screen, and I have to hit verify. And that's the end of session. Now, end of session, you've got a couple of options here. One is you can pick up the rank and see where you are. Now that's as of all the boards that have reported. So we're going to do that, and the rank button is right here. The ranking screen shows us how we rank after the boards have been reported, up to the number of boards that have been reported. Now, in this case, we rank, north-south ranks 43%, and east-west is at 58%. This is particularly meaningful at the end of the game. Right now, the ranking is as of 8 boards that have been reported. The screen that follows shows us how each board was played. We can go back and review all the boards that have been reported. Well, that's my video, and let's go play duplicate bridge, and good luck, everybody. This will be a short video on bidding boxes and how they work. Bidding boxes are something that comes along with duplicate bridge. If you're new to duplicate bridge, this may seem a bit strange, but there's really a good reason for it. First of all, in duplicate bridge, we're competing against everyone in the room. Everyone is going to play the same boards, and we are competing against the pair that's on either side of us. So we don't really want them to hear our bids, because that would give them some insight as to what the boards are and help them beat us. Bidding boxes were created to prevent this from happening. The way they work is that we simply, instead of saying our bid, i.e. 2 hearts, we pull the card that's marked 2 hearts. But before we get into that, I want to go over some really basic stuff with the bidding box, how to get into them and such, and what each of the cards mean. When you first sit down at the table, the bidding box is folded up neatly into a little square. Now this is the new style bidding boxes that I've gotten here, and they're a little different from older bidding boxes. Their main advantage is that they are square and they do stack flat. If you look at the bidding boxes, you'll see there is a slight indentation on one side, and there are instructions as to how to open them. Now those instructions are woefully hard to see because they're the same color as the bidding box, but here they are. What you do is you put your finger in and you pry up and the bidding box will open. This is the way that we open our bid box. If you see this little notch here, what you do is you come in, hold this down with your thumb, click that open. Now, you just bend this so that those cards pop up and push this end down, it snaps, and the bid box is open. When you unpack your box, one of the nice things about these boxes are there are 3 places for cards. The pass, the double, and the redouble go in the first slot. The bid cards go in the second slot. And the stop and the alert cards are usually put at the very back because they're not used very often. When we are bidding out of the bid box, it turns out there is a nice way to lay the cards out. And I'm going to show you what that is right now. Okay, let's say that on the very first bid we want to make, one of my favorite bids is to pass. We simply pull out the pass card and lay it on the table like that. Now, bidding goes around, and let's say it comes back to us, and we want to bid now 2 hearts. We reach in, hold the heart, 2 heart, and we take everything behind it, pull it out, and we lay it down like that. Now, you notice I put it on the pass card with the pass showing. That's so that so the table will know what each of our bids were. For instance, if our next bid is 2 no trump, again, I would grab the 2 no trump, grab everything behind it, and lay it down like that. Then we come around again, and let's say they got the bid, and we want to double that bid. I'll grab the double and lay it down like that. Finally, it comes around to the end, and we just pass by putting the pass right there. So you can see at the end of the bidding, look at what everyone has bid, and you don't really have to go through a review. One of the nice things about the card system that we use is when they're laid out properly, you can see a complete history of the bid without having to ask for a review. Before every player, there is the sequence that they bid. So when the bidding is over, you can stop it. You can say, just hold it, let me look a minute. And you can look at each player's sequence and tell what was bid. Well, that's it, everybody. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and let's all go play bridge. Good luck, everybody. Hand records. I want to spend a few minutes talking about hand records and why we keep them and how you fill them out. Most duplicate players will keep a hand record of the game for their own use. In tournament play, South is expected to keep a hand record so that if there are any questions, the director can refer to the written record of play. Also, in tournament, you'll get a sheet after the game showing the best way to play each hand. And it's fun to compare that against your hand record. The hand record sheet looks like this. There are places for 30 boards to be recorded. And we'll go through each slot and show, not all 30 boards, we'll do it on one board or two, but we'll show you where you record each item. Most folks will fold a sheet in two, as it makes it easier to handle, and we're only going to work with one side at a time, so just fold your sheet in two and you'll be okay. I'm just going to show a small portion, but it will show what one record will look like. The first thing we need to do is put our pair number. Our pair number is shown in the upper left-hand corner. So you write the pair number in there. In this case, we're pair 2 east-west. Next, we need to locate the board number that we're going to be recording. If you look on the far left-hand side where it says bid number, it's actually board number. In this case, we're going to be recording the results for board 3. Now, take a look at the next column. It says south, east, west. And if you look at the top of that column, it tells you that it's going to be the declare and the vulnerability. In other words, south is going to be the opening bid, and east-west is vulnerable. You declare on the top, vulnerability on the bottom. Next, we want to record the opponent's pair number. That's the next column over. And in this case, we're playing opponent number 5. Then we want to record the contract and who won the contract. In this case, we're playing 3 no trump in the north. The next thing we want to record is the outcome of the contract and the lead card. Actually, we're going to record the lead card first, but I'm a little out of order here, bear with me. In this case, the lead card was the 3 of diamonds, and we recorded that in the lead card slot. Next, we want to record the outcome. In this case, we made our contract, and then the result minus 430. Now let's go to the next board. We're still at pair 5 north-south, and this time the contract is 4 hearts in the east, and the lead card was the ace of spades, and we went down 2 this time. Before we made plus 4, but this time we went down 2. And so our score is a minus 200. Now going to the next board, we're moving tables now, and we've gone to pair 6. This time the contract is 3 no in the south, and it's been doubled. The lead card was the 4 of spades, and the result was a minus 2. We went down 2. And so our score is 500. So now we know how to record scores on our hand record. What do we do with it when it's over? As I said, in tournament play, you'll get a sheet that shows you how you should have played each board, what the best outcome for each board was. We don't do that here at club because it costs extra money. But what I do is I present a record of how everyone played the boards on our website. So if you go to our web page, you'll be able to see how the boards were played. When you enter our web page on the home page, you'll see pictures of the winners of the last game and results of the last game and how everyone placed. To see the detail on how everything was played, we need to go to our results page. The results page is shown up here in the upper right hand corner. If you click on results, it will take you to the results page. Now the results page looks like this. There are a number of lines, and I'll go through some of them and let you know what they mean. Let's take a look at line 1. It says board 1 was played at table 2. The north-south pair was pair 2. The east-west pair was pair 3. The lead card was the Queen of Diamonds. This was in round 7. The bidder is 2 north, and the bid is 2 spades. And the result was they made 3. So for each round, that's recorded for every board, for everyone who played it. And you can look at that and find where your board was. And you can also compare it to how other people played. I hope this video has been useful. Let's go play bridge.